Hey there, folks. This is Bardic Dragoon. Welcome to Dragon Quest III. Predictably enough, the third entry in the Dragon Quest series, released originally for the Famicom in Japan in 1988 with a English language release version for the US on the NES, coming about 2 or 3 years later in 91. This is, well, one of my personal favorites out of the Dragon Quest series, and from my understanding, a pretty frequent fan favorite overall. So that's cool. And it actually closes out kind of the the trilogy of beginning from the first two games which we already played. This one's actually a much bigger game. It is kind of like when you have a long-running series, you kind of look at like that's the entry where they kind of got it. That's where the entry where they kind of figured out what this series is and what it's about. And ostensibly, this is a pretty good candidate for that option. The next three games in the series are probably kind of more in line with what the series has kind of become, arguably. And it's a weird discussion, not really relevant to this game here we're playing, though. That said, though, first thing first, of course, we're going to have to start up a new game here. Oh, and actually one thing before we get too involved into this. There are actually a number of different versions of Dragon Quest III. Similar to the previous two games, there were remakes for it on the Super Famicom and the Game Boy Color, and then this version, well, there's the version for smartphones, which is what this is based off of, which right now we're playing the version for Switch. But unlike the Dragon Quest 1 and 2, there are a number of pretty notable differences between some of the versions. We'll get into those as we get to them, though there is an argument to make that this may not be the best version to play, but the question of which one is and questions of how to play it kind of make this probably a good option to go with anyway, because you'll get the kind of core experience unadulterated and in good form and all that, and on a console that in any moment in time, relatively easy to get your hands on here. Anyway, that said, we're going to be calling our hero this time Lyra, in part because we can choose the gender of our hero. There's actually only one of two Dragon Quest, mainline titles that allows you to do this. Oh, okay. I always forget there's the MMO. So there's three of them that you do this. But, yeah. We're going to go with a female hero, or a female heroine, because, sure, why the hell not? And leave everything default as far as measure speed and all that. And behold, the beginning of the game. We're in a cave. So, already we're seeing one of the things that's the difference between different versions here. This sequence here that we're about to, just started and engaged in, didn't actually come around until the Super Famicom release. It was also kept in the Game Boy Color release and, of course, this version, and it ties into a mechanic that was introduced in the Super Famicom release. But, well, let's leave this cave and get into that.
Lyra, can you hear me, Lyra? I am she who watches over all. One day, not long from now, you will appear before me, a true hero. But before your journey can begin, you must teach me something. Teach me what manner of person you are. You must answer my questions as honestly as you are able. Are you ready to begin?
I don't know, this sounds pretty heavy. I'm not sure I'm ready for this.
You are a wary soul, or perhaps you are merely willful and contrary. We shall soon see. But not before you are ready. I can wait. I have all the time in the world.
And yeah, she just sends you back to the cave. You have to go talk to her and do the, basically personality test that she administers. It's actually kind of an interesting test, and that is the mechanic in question that was introduced in the Super Famicom release. Personalities. The way personalities work, they essentially adjust your stat growth. You do have, for each character, there's kind of a standard stat growth pattern for each character, but then you can have the personality that applies bonuses and penalties to each of the individual stats to give them overall what their stat growth is going to be. It's actually a pretty interesting and useful mechanic in the game here. For your hero, it's ostensibly not super important, as much as they make a big deal out of it here at the beginning with the whole, before you really get to the game, here's a personality test kind of thing, as personalities can change through the course of the game. You can find certain items or equip certain things that will change the personality of a character. However, with the hero, if I'm not mistaken, you actually, through the course of the adventure, just completing kind of the quest of the story, your personality is going to kind of change to a particular one. Or at least I remember doing that back in the day when I played this on the Game Boy Color. So I believe that's how it was. Again, the Game Boy Color version came out in 2000, so it's been a while since I played it. So take that with a grain of salt. That said, let's actually go do this here and continue on with the game. And yeah, she skips a majority of the preamble on that, but it's nothing new to be said there. But yes, we are ready now, so let's do this.
Very well. First, you must tell me your true name.
Alright, and this is kind of meant to be, you enter the name of you as the player. Unfortunately, there isn't enough space to fit my username in there, so we'll just shorten it down.
What is the month of your birth? And the day? So, Bardic, you were born on the 12th day of the month of October. Your sign is the one known in your world as Libra. Is this correct?
Yes. If you say no, it will take you back to, I believe, it only asks you to re-enter your birth date. It doesn't ask you to enter the name. We're good with that, so yes.
Very good, Bardic. I will now ask you a series of questions. Do not dwell upon them too deeply. Answer swiftly and from the heart. Do so, and I will come to know your true mind. Now, let us begin. Do you believe that victory can be won on the field of battle?
Isn't that what the whole point of going to the field of battle is?
Do you prefer spells and sorcery to swords and sweat?
I always like the feeling that there's a sense of finesse to that. There's a sense of finesse to, weaponry and like actual usage, but it doesn't usually get conveyed too well in RPGs, at least turn-based ones.
Do you find the company of unfamiliar people tiresome?
Yeah.
Do you trust in the words of those who tell fortunes?
Not particularly, no.
Do you enjoy physical pursuits?
No.
Do you find cats more endearing than dogs?
Yeah, dogs are obnoxious. I would say obnoxious little things, but some dogs are huge and they terrify me.
Do you believe that it is wrong to fall for the beloved of a close friend?
Fall for them or pursue them? Falling for them, you have no control over that, and that's fine. You're going to make yourself miserable, but it's fine. Pursuing them is a different story. So no, I don't think it's wrong to fall for them. Presuming I'm understanding what you're asking. I'm thinking about this too much, aren't I? Let's just say no.
Do you take great care over your appearance?
I think I've been wearing these pajamas for a few days straight without changing. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. And you already asked me this one. I already said no.
Is your circle of acquaintances wide and varied?
First of all, let's start with that question about circle of acquaintances. What do you mean by... Yeah, no, it is not.
Do you often dwell on days gone by?
Not as much as I used to, no.
Do you pay much heed to the gossip of others?
No.
If you are deceived by another, do you believe the blame lies at least in part with your own carelessness?
Yeah, you fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice and all that.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed. I feel that I know you a little better now. Now let us move on to the final test of your character.
And yeah, the way this personality test goes, well, as you see, it just throws a bunch of yes or no questions at you. And it's actually, if you're so inclined, there are actually charts online that you can find that will basically walk you through, because it starts, and I don't know how it chooses this initial seed. That might be something with the name or your birthday or something like that says, okay, start here or start from here, or it might just be fully random. I don't actually know. I have not been able to find any information on that. However, you can basically say, okay, from this question, if you answer yes or no, you can basically follow a flowchart, and there are ones you can find online for that will take you to a certain result or a certain final test. Because there are 6 or 7 final tests. 8 different final scenarios. Okay. And basically, what you do in each of the scenarios will determine what the personality is of the hero. So, for example, this one, we're in a little, apparently, dance hall. There's a lady up on stage. There's some dudes watching her. There's this dude over here. Leaving so soon? And yeah, that's one of the options. We can choose to leave. We're not going to do that, though. Partially because the personality it gives you isn't super great, and also that's not really how I'd handle this situation. I mean, it's like one of those situations, like I find myself suddenly in a dance hall. There are people standing around. What am I going to do? Talk to the guy by the door and try and leave? Probably not. I don't know. I think that's such a bizarre and strange situation. I'm not sure what I would do in that situation in full reality. Anyway, let's talk to the actual patrons here at the tavern, though. Wow, look at her go! Go on, my girl! Woo! That's the ticket. I do so love to watch Peony strut her stuff. Makes me feel young again. Hey, you do know who she is, don't you? Peony? Apparently? That's what the older guy said. Of course you do. You'd have to be living in a hole in the ground not to have heard of the lovely Peony. Okay. Let's just pretend I don't know who the lovely Peony is. I just know the name. Who is that lady on the stage? You don't? Blimey, poor old you. That young lady up on stage there is the divine and delicious Princess Peony. She's the greatest dancing girl ever to grace the stage. I mean, I'm not too impressed by her moves. They're not too distinctly different from mine here. I mean, you just got a simple step forward, walk in place move. She got anything else going on? But the real with this test, the real thing here, main thing here is to talk to this guy. Oh, Peony, my darling, my one, my only, my world. You might not think it to look at me, but I'm the lucky man that girl up there is going to marry. Well, we're engaged anyway. To tell the truth, I can't help worrying that she's, You couldn't go and ask her quickly for me, could you? Just, go up and check if she still loves me. You'll do it, won't you? And yeah. So we can go up and talk to her. And actually, what's over here? I'm curious. Considering you can't take anything with you from here, I don't know why I expect anything different from that, but that's interesting. Anyway, so yes, you can talk to him, and he is engaged to Peony up on the stage there. You can go talk to her, and, figure out whether she still loves him, and then, depending on how things go with that, is where the majority of the choices are. As I said, you can also talk to this guy and be like, nope, I'm just noping the heck out of here, but no, let's go talk to Peony. See, I'm a better dancer. Look at me. I can dance with a sword. And a 1 and a 2 and a shuffle and a twirl. Hello there, darling. Did you want something? What's that? Engaged? Oh, yes, I am. But to be honest, I've been thinking, and my career just has to come first, You wouldn't be a love and go and tell him for me, would you? That I can't marry him, I mean. Go on, say you will. Pretty please, I'd be ever so grateful. So yeah, now we have the actual choice here. Do we tell this guy? Do we just nope on out of here? Or, well, let's talk to him, because, as I said, this is where the majority of the choices are. Whether you choose to tell him the truth, not tell him the truth, or, well, let's get the conversation prompt up on screen here. So, what did she say? If she changed her mind, I don't think I could go on living. She's still going to marry me, isn't she? Isn't she? And yes, we can either tell him, we can lie to him and say, yeah, no, she's totally going to marry you. which I'm sorry, I can't do that. Like, it's an awkward situation to tell him the truth, but or to tell a lie to him, and then he goes, and then later on he learns the truth. Like, that's going to be even more awkward. I mean, it's not awkward for me. I'm going to be long gone by that point, but I just can't bring myself to do it. We could play dumb and just be like, what? What are you talking about? What was I doing? What am I doing here? Huh? Or we could just straight up tell him the truth and be like, no, dude, she's not going to marry you. We don't know if she loves you still or not. Maybe somewhere in the future when, she's made advancements in her career or whatever, since that's kind of her focus apparently. But, yeah, let's go ahead and tell this guy the truth.
She isn't? Really? But why? She promised. She crossed her heart and hoped to die. I am she who watches over all, and I have seen what manner of person you are. Lyra, you are a firm believer in individuality, in traveling the path less trodden. You try to be, and succeed in being, a tough, independent individual, an all-around cool customer, if you will. Even with close friends, you keep a certain distance and always remain aloof. This may lead others to feel that you are difficult to relate to, and you yourself may even feel lonely at times, but then isn't everybody lonely deep down? You will undoubtedly come to this realization eventually, and when at last you do, there will be no one there to comfort you. For you are a lone wolf, destined to walk alone.
Pardon me, just had to resist to start singing old 80s hair metal. Don't know why that happened. Moving on.
This is your spirit, your soul, the essence of your character. Now, my child, very soon the dawn will break, and you will rise to greet the new day. I am she who watches over all, and I look forward to the time when you and I come face to face at last.
And so yes, our personality is Lone Wolf, which, as I said, personalities determine your stat distribution, or accentuate your stat distribution. Your character itself determines the stat distribution. But as far as the stat distribution, or the stat bonuses and all that for a Lone Wolf, it's actually a pretty solid personality to go with. It does give you a sizable 30% penalty to luck growth, so as far as luck mainly factors into resisting status effects, and I believe that's the main thing that factors into it. I'll have to double check on that. But you're not going to be so great at that. However, your strength is, well, standard, and you get a 10% bonus to both resilience and wisdom. Main thing though is you get a 20% bonus to agility. So the strength bonus, you're going to be your standard, physical attack's going to work about as they normally would for the class in general. Your resilience and wisdom, resilience gives you, resilience determines your HP. Wisdom determines your MP and can actually also slightly affect when you learn spells. There's levels where you will learn spells, but depending on your wisdom, you can actually learn them, depending on the version you're playing, between 3 to 5 levels, either earlier or later. Higher wisdom contributing to you having a better chance of learning them earlier. So, having solid HP and MP and being able to potentially learn spells earlier is pretty useful, especially given the rate at which the hero learns spells. But the main attraction of the Lone Wolf, or the main bonus for the Lone Wolf, is your agility, with a 20% bonus to that. Agility determines your turn order, or rather your a character's place in turn order, and also factors into your defense alongside your equipment. So yeah, we'll have above average HP, above average defense, and a good chunk of MP. It's a pretty good position to be in, if you ask me. Anyway, on with the story itself. Our story begins on the morning of Lyra's 16th birthday. Hey, Lyra, wakey wakey, rise and shine. Morning, my darling, it's time to get up. Today's a very important day. After all, it's not every morning you ask the king himself to give you
to give your big journey his personal blessing. This is what I've been raising you for all these years, my big brave girl.
I don't want to get up, though. And yeah, you can just sit here and not do anything and just look at the screen. I don't know why you do that, but you can. But as soon as you press a button, any button, you'll jump out of bed. So before you go talk to your mom, I mean, there's not really much reason to do this now, but before you talk to your mom, open that chest and you get a Seed of Strength. You can actually come back here and get that at any point, but, you know, it's right here, it's right now. So, before we go talk to our mother and continue on with the story, something I want to mention here really quickly. As I mentioned, there are a couple of different versions of this game, and there's actually some pretty notable differences between them, aside from just standard, you know, rebalancing, change or graphics changes and all of that. The main thing here to bring up here is the fact that there is a scene that we did not see because the version we're playing. Every version of the game, starting with the American localization on the NES, features an intro sequence that follows the journey of... We'll get more information on that character in a few moments when we go talk to the king, but you're basically... pardon me. But it's basically, you follow his journey as he travels across the world and comes to an unfortunate demise. That is not included in this version. I'm not 100% sure why. Some things I've read, it has to do with the fact that this version does not feature animated monster sprites. Though then again, neither did the NES version, so I'm not sure why that would stop this. But it's an interesting scene to watch, especially the Super Famicom version. It just looks really good in that. And I'd really have loved to see that in this version with, like, the, you know, updated graphics. I mean, would have been really cool if they did just full in, did an FMV sequence, especially that fight, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, with that said, let's get on with the story again here. Well then, shall we get going? Come on, follow me. And don't slouch or I'll make you hold my hand all the way to the castle. Yes, Mom. And, well, this is our hometown. I kind of like the fact that you start out with this kind of just view of it here. Come on, dear, you know where the castle is. Straight on now. Off you go, and remember to mind your manners. I won't have the king thinking you've been dragged up. Yeah, let's not do that. And where exactly do you think you're going? Have you changed your mind about going to meet the king? Yes? Oh, you have you? Well, if you don't go and see him today, he might never grant you an audience again. Is that what you want? Well, is it? No. Well, you could have fooled me. Now stop being so silly and run along to the castle. And be polite. Yes, Mom. So yeah, you have to go talk to the king here. It's, you know, if you try to walk past your mom to go explore the town, it'll just do a little but thou must loop here. So let's go take a look in the castle. Welcome to Elehan Castle. Okay, say the same thing. What about you guys? Off you go now, the king is waiting for you. The throne room is just up the stairs there. Alright, so let's go up the stairs. Oh, hello. If you are here to see the king, just carry on straight down this way. If you plan on taking a break from your adventure, be sure to record everything you've done in an adventure log. That way, when you've come to resume your quest, you'll be able to pick up exactly where you left off. No sense doing the same thing twice, is there? I mean, that is kind of obnoxious, yeah. The further forward a person is in battle, the more damage they will take when hit. That's why you always need to think very carefully about your party's lineup. You may be the biggest lone wolf in town, but not even you can survive on your own, Lyra. I mean, people have done solo character challenges of this game. I'm not doing that. I have no desire to do that or no interest in doing that. But, you know, you're wrong. But actually, yeah, we'll talk about that more when we actually get party members, but your party lineup does actually affect things in battle slightly. What about you? What do you have to say? This should go without saying, but weapons and armor are no good to you if you forget to equip them. I mean, I played an RPG, I already knew that, but okay, thank you for the advice.
It is far too dangerous out in the wild to travel alone. You must visit Patty's party planning place in the west of town and recruit some companions. Yes, we should. Talk about that actually probably next episode. Well met, Lyra, son of Ortega. Forgive me. Daughter of Ortega. I have no doubt that your mother has recounted the tale of your brave father's final moments many times. Well, she did this morning. She usually had this nice animated slideshow that she shows me, but she didn't do that this morning. Now I'm sad. When he fell into the maw of that accursed volcano, the world lost a great man. However, we wholeheartedly approve your wish to follow in his footsteps and set forth on the path of adventure. For it is what he would have wanted, and only the child of such a hero as he could hope to save our world. The foe that faces us is a dire one indeed, the Archfiend Baramos. Many of the peoples of this world do not yet even know his name, and yet his grip on our realm grows ever tighter. He must be stopped, no matter the cost. Brave Lyra, you must free us from the Archfiend's ever-encroaching tyranny. But alone you will only meet with the same fate as your father. Go and consult with Mistress Patty in town, and use this to outfit the companions as she has selected for you. And he gives us 50 gold pieces and some basic equipment, and puts them in the bag. We wish you good fortune, brave Lyra. And, well, let's actually take a look at the menu here. Of course, have ourselves, the hero, Lone Wolf. And, well, there's our stats. They're pretty much the same as they were before, not much reason to go into those. And yeah, you have a couple of different things. Tactics. You can actually change how your party members react. Very nice. Traveler's tips. Yeah, if you need help. You can quick save. We can adjust settings. If we had spells, we could use them. And we have the bag, which we have some very basic equipment put into there. So, with that said, let's take a tour around the castle. I forget you can unlock those doors. Ooh, a seat of luck. Nothing of interest. Okay. Oh, head west from the castle and follow the sea, and the promontory cave is where you shall soon be. Fiddle-dee-dee, riddle-dee-day. I wonder if that'll be important. Oh, please, brave hero, bring back peace to our world. Your only hope. Don't worry, ma'am. I'm on it. I might have been a mistake to choose a female character. We'll just pretend she has a very deep, manly voice, so I don't have to do that. I hear that wily thief Kirk Buzzer came up with a key that could open any normal lock in existence. Why, with one of those in your pocket, you could come and go through the doorways of the world as you pleased. That sounds useful. I'm sure we'll have nothing to do with finding that. That rascal Kirk Buzzer, who is robbing houses all over town, has finally got his just desserts. He's banged up in jail. Alright, but he has a key that can open anything. I feel like that's, not going to keep him there. And yes, as with Dragon Quest II, there are different types of doors. Different types of doors require different keys to open. There's not much we can open right now. Have you seen the princess? Princess! Princess! I haven't seen her. I'm sure she's somewhere in the castle. We'll probably see her sooner rather than later. But I haven't seen her yet. I've heard that the cave over in the promontory leads to the Dreamer's Tower. How about that? I mean, I've never actually checked to see if it's true, but everyone says so. Antidotal herb. It might be useful. Ooh, mini medals. I forgot. Those pop up here. Mini medals are actually a concept that was introduced in Dragon Quest IV initially. Though the Super Famicom release, they were added into this game. They are essentially a completely arbitrary collectible object that you can use and that you can find and give to a certain NPC to get interesting items. We'll actually be meeting him before the end of this video, but let's talk to I presume you're the princess. You have that princessly look to you. Those stupid grown-ups won't let me go outside because they say it's too dangerous. It's that smelly old archfiend's fault, isn't it? Oh, I hate him. It's so boring being cooped up in here. I tried to sneak out the other day, but Daddy caught me. He's much more perceptive than he looks.
I feel like royalty would even like in medieval times, speech therapy would be a thing if you're like royalty. Also, I hate trying to fake a lisp. That was awkward, and I'm not doing that again if I can avoid it. It was Ortega who inspired me to enlist as a castle guard, And yet, he went off to battle the enemy and never returned. I just can't believe he would let himself get killed so easily. He's out there somewhere. I just know he is. Look, I'm his kid. I've accepted that he's passed. Move on your life, buddy. This is the castle dungeon. If you're here to visit a prisoner, just go up to the bars of their cell and talk to them. But no funny business, understand? Dude, I'm the son of a hero. I wouldn't do anything like let prisoners free. Also, the door's locked, so we couldn't do it anyway if we wanted to. That wrinkly old geezer up that dreamer's tower was a right piece of work. Not only did he go and get me banged up, he pinched me precious key and all. Me, the great keck buzzer himself. My trusty thief's key open any red door in the world, and only if I'd have used it to. What a plonker I am. I think we might want to go to the Dreamer's Tower. That sounds like a useful key. Once again, door's locked. You ain't got a key that'll open this, have you? Well, then sling your hook and wait. I ain't got no use for you. God blimey! No. That's the wrong Dragon Quest game. Darn, if we only had the Thieves' Key, we could open that red door. Alright, so that's all there is to see inside the castle. There's not much really to be seen. I mean, we got a few items, including that mini medal. I forgot that was here in this castle. But as I said, the person that we're going to be giving that to is actually here in town, so that's kind of useful. Gives us a chance to talk about that. Let me just double check. Yep, okay. There's nothing along the side, that's what I thought. So, that was the castle of Alahan. This is predictably the city of Alahan. The castle's closed at nighttime. If you want to meet the king, you'll have to go during the day. And yes, this game actually features a day-night cycle. Nifty, huh? No, nothing interesting there. This building here is Patty's party planning place. I always hated absolutely asinine alliteration, but what can you do? 25 gold coins. To the war effort and all that. But yeah, that's going to be important, but we're not really going to deal with that. It's definitely going to be next episode. This is the castle town of Alahan, as you know. If you're planning on heading out for a hike, you could do worse than visit the picturesque village of Reeve to the north. And if you come here, so real quickly, one of these barrels has, yep, there we go, medicinal herb. Talk to your mom. She basically allows you to basically get a free inn. You can also talk to, I presume, your grandfather. Ortega was real hero material, you know. Your father was something special, and his father before him. You've a lot to live up to, Layra. Don't let your grandfather down. That's right, okay, he is your grandfather. I thought he was, but I wasn't 100% sure. And you also got 5 gold you can steal from your grandpa. The dry 5 and all that. Welcome back, my darling. So did you see the king, and were you nice and polite like you promised? Yes, mother. Thank goodness for that. I was petrified you'd trip over or say the wrong thing. Well, it doesn't matter now. You have the king's permission to go off adventuring. You're officially a grown-up. Anyway, you must be ever so tired after all that excitement. Off to bed with you. I thought she gave you a prompt. I know otherwise she'll give you a prompt and you'll be like, nope, I'm gonna go. Morning, darling. Go on now. Off you go and do some adventuring. But yeah, she's a free inn. You can stay there and recover your health. Hello, hello, hello. I'm your local guardsman on the beat, here to keep the streets free of trouble. And you may set off on your quest safe in the knowledge that your hometown is in good hands. Boy, interesting.
Time was, Elhain ruled over the world. But then came the wars, and we lost so many of our young men. They say it was the fighting which led them to close the teleportal to the mainland.
And, well, we don't actually have a map in this one. This one does actually, you actually have to acquire the map. It won't be too long before we do that, but we do actually have to acquire a map before we can look at it. But yes, Alahan is an island continent, sort of. When we see the world map, it'll make sense. Let's just say that. And what do you have to say? Let me just barge into your room and talk to you, buddy. Seems the fellow in the room opposite tried to make himself a wrecking ball and met with a little accident. And judging by how badly he's hurt, those things must be pretty dangerous. I only wanted to see what's on the other side of the ocean. Ow, it hurts. So, yeah, as the old man mentioned, the teleportal is closed. Apparently he tried to get there and it didn't go too well. Oh well. Sure, we'll have nothing to do with that. Look at you and your spiky-ass hair. You're Ortega's son, aren't you? The hero? Daughter, my, I'm ever so sorry. Have you seen that funny little island off to the west of town? No? Walk a little way west of town. You'll spot it soon enough. Okay, why did you bring that up, though? Well, the building standing on it is known as the Dreamless Tower, and a strange old place it is, too. Thank you for that ever so informative information. If you leave town and wander around for too long, eventually it'll get dark. And when that happens, you want to be careful. The Mina monsters just love the nighttime. Also, he actually is factoring into the day-night cycle. He isn't there at night. On a nice sunny day like this, the whole idea of the Archfiend destroying the world just seems impossible, doesn't it? But it is possible. But I will stop him. Anyway, here we have a church. Elhain sits upon a body of land surrounded entirely by sea. On the other side of that sea are land masses larger than we island dwellers could ever imagine. If I could only catch a glimpse of those distant shores just once before I die. And yeah. Priest, they do the same as they did in Dragon Quest II. Revive, heal, all that good stuff. And then we of course have an item shop. So, this has been a long enough video, you know, getting through the intro, not really accomplishing much of anything. That's a good place to leave off, right? Well, anyway, I'm gonna go talk to the king, save my game and all that. But tune in next time where, well, I think it's time we get this party started. Hardy har har. Anyway, until then, now let's actually talk to the king here, see how saving works. I don't think I've showed that too much in the other one, so it's worth doing here. Well met, child of Alahain. Lyra, you have another 29 points of experience to earn on your journey to the next level. Do you wish to record the details of your journey in your adventure log? Well, yes I do. In which adventure log shall we record your deeds? The one that I created? Interesting, you can actually save in the different adventure logs. I'm not sure why it has you make one at the start, but whatever. It is done. Your deeds have been chronicled. Do you wish to continue on your journey? Nah, not for the moment, I think. As I said, I think we're going to call it a day. Tune in next time where, well, I guess it's time to find some traveling companions and set out for our journey proper. Until then, though, as always, later, folks.